venison steak and onions.
Yeah, this is 4-2 here, just the short range forecast.
Girls can fish.
High fives.
Okay, we're here today with Mark and Jackie, and we're at Lake Rotoroa in Hamilton. Mark's doing a study for Fish and Game. Tell us about that, Mark.
Okay, what we're planning to do is to tag 50 tench over the next 3 to 4 months. The aim being to establish their distribution around the lake, the growth rates, and eventually the actual size of fish, the potential for the fishery. So far our biggest fish is over 6 pound. We've established that there are 3 probable generations of tench in here. It's a fish that lives for 14 odd years, and a high percentage of those have been females. Now the fish have just finished spawning. The ones I caught several weeks ago are all post-spawn fish, going back to September, October when they were pre-spawners. So they're in excellent condition, so they should be on the feed now.
Coarse fishing is fairly new to New Zealand, so Mark's going to show us a few of the basics before we get started.
We're fishing in about 3 to 4 feet of water. This sort of cage feeder is the one we're using. Help them cast, they have a lead strip on the base. The idea being that together with the weight of the actual ground bait inside of it is your casting weight. Sometimes to start the session they'll load up a big feeder and cast it 3 or 4 times. That's just simply to get some bait out there. At the start of the session we'll probably change the bait in the feeder every 5 minutes, so you're building up your bed. After that you'll leave it for 10-15 minutes and change it each time. To stop the food coming out the base, when you feed it, you're actually putting your fingers on the bottom like that, and you're putting your feed in using your thumb to compact it, so you end up with a compacted plug of feed at the bottom. Put your corn in and then repeat it at the other end, so again you're compressing the ground bait within the feeder itself, and that holds it within the feeder until it hits the water. Then the water hits it and it slowly ejects as it falls to the bottom.
A little burley setup.
It's simply a burley cage. Okay, the mix I've got here is a ground bait mix of various breadcrumbs and other additives that are put into it to give it flavour. What you're trying to do is to send out a scent trail, which the tench will hopefully come and put their nose into, see what's there, find on the bottom the 3 offerings of corn, and in amongst those will be our combination corn and worm bait. I've got a compost worm and a compost bin at home, and I'm using, to keep them on a barbless hook, I'm using a piece of sweet corn, which has actually been flavoured with a strawberry flavouring, as a bait stop. One of the important things you're trying to do is to always get your bait within the same area of a couple of metres, because you're trying to create a bed of ground bait on the bottom for the fish to move into and sit on.
The ground bait used to attract the target species is a combination of texture, colour, scents and flavours. You can make your own, or you can import a variety of product from the UK.
This is your ground bait. This one's particularly designed for tench. They like the colour red, and this has got some sweet additives added to a breadcrumb base. So you mix that with, all starts off as a dry mix, with more of a traditional bread mix. You can add others. This is a seaweed one with hemp in it. It's a lot coarser and heavier. Explosive formula because the hemp will actually burst out of the end of the feeder. Something interesting. It's a pineapple flavoured bait, and that's designed to actually sit on the bottom, and the tench will suck that in.
And you put a hole through it, did
you drill a hole through it. Yeah, you actually drill a hole through that to mount it on what's called a hair rig. And you've got additives and flavourings which you can mix into your ground bait. There's a whole range of these. I particularly like these because they're sweet flavouring, you get pineapple and strawberry flavourings. Whether it makes a difference, I don't know, but when you're sitting through long sessions, it's good to know that you've got that sort of thing out there.
Coarse fishing is a great way to spend an afternoon, and the native wildlife are particularly interested in the conversation, especially when it turns to cats.
You're not liking the cats?
No, I don't like the catfish. No. They are your problem fish in this lake. The problem fish. You can go, huh? Just using the disgorger now to get the hook out.
If we're fishing in here, what other types of species are we going to come across?
Okay, you'll come across rudd, which have been here since the early 90s as well. Perch, which feed on the rudd. They're great fun for the kids with their spinning gear, but I have heard of them up to 5 pound being caught in the middle of the lake with people using soft plastics. Also, your probably more problem fish, you'll get your catfish in here, and a small number of eels, which have been here for decades, centuries. Tench have always been a sports fish, which requires a freshwater license to fish for, and they're regulated by Fish and Game, controlled by Fish and Game, with specific regulations in terms of how you can fish for them.
Yeah, might as well. Give it a shot.
Yep.
That was quick, wasn't it?
That was very quick. It's too quick. Yeah, it's probably a small rudder, I think. Rudd. That's a rudd. It's pretty much the average size. Very pretty fish. They are a lot bigger in here.
We're targeting tench, but the other species present in these waters offer a smorgasbord of fun and fishing action for every fisherman in the family.
That's him. Put him in the keep net. Well, what we've got is a keep net. Now basically it's a net with a cage, and it will keep its shape, and the fish will just lie passively in that until they're removed. They're used mainly for match fishing, and so at the end of the day the fish will be weighed as a complete weight depending upon how many you catch, and that can be your winning weight. For this purpose it's simply so we can keep them alive in there, to have them removed at the end, and then they'll be tagged, measured, sexed, so I have to record that as well before they're released. Well, after a cold start, it's certainly become a beautiful day here at the lake, and what I've got today is something quite special. I've got a carp bait boat. This is remote control. I've fitted a fish sonar system to it, and the objective is to run it across where we're going to fish to look for drop-offs, look for areas where we expect to find fish. It will also show me the fish numbers. Now that's not as important though as the bottom, because it's the bottom that will bring the fish. If I can get the ground bait using the carp bait boat, releasing the bait where I want it, that will bring the fish to me. So if I can find structure, if I can find drop-offs with this, with the sonar system, we can also pre-bait the area with it. So with the remote control system, I can control the operation of the boat and the ground bait release bait, which is operated simply by engage the red button, and that will release up to 5 kilos of ground bait into the area I want it to release to. In terms of the engine control, that's a separate servo altogether. So there's no crossing over your bait getting released at the wrong time. So that is forward, reverse, and then a full 360 degrees of turn by running the remote control system as I want it to. Okay, so with the fish finder system, that's linked to a sonar which is attached to the rear of the boat, and this will give me water temperature, bottom depth, bottom structure, even bottom density, what the bottom actually is, whether it's silt or gravel, and thirdly fish, and the depth those fish are at. It'll come up in either a large fish or a small fish symbol.
So what's that? What are you doing?
Making a dense ball of ground bait. It's quite a heavy mix, this ground bait. It's quite moist. And the idea will be that it will stay basically together until it hits the bottom, because when it's released from the boat into about 3.5 meters of water, you don't want it falling apart as soon as it comes out. What you want it to do is to stay like that, hit the bottom, and then disperse as a ground bait. So I'm putting a fair bit of effort into trying to condense it. Insert those into the bait. You can put a lot more in. What we'll do now is put the boat in, run it out into the area we're going to fish, pick a mark on the far bank that's within casting range, so that once that bait is released, my own bait will actually be cast into that same area. So I'm establishing quite quickly a blank area, and I can run that boat out 2 or 3 times with ground bait in it, disperse it, even put in some loose feed if I wanted to put in corn or maize or something like that. I can put that in as well. Engage the 2 motors. As long as I don't get a canoeist first. So 2.8, 2.9, 3 metres. Probably where I want to drop my bait. So I'll engage the doors. And there goes my ground bait. So between that white shed and that marker board. Okay, well there were 2 responses then that were probably tench because they were about 30 centimetres pair of fish off the bottom and came across as big fish responses. Another fish. There's a shoal of fish coming through there now. So they're all at 2 metres depth, so they're 50, 60 centimetres off the bottom. Alright, so what I'm going to go through is a basic feeder system setup. Free running feeder clip, that goes on first. A rubber shock absorber bead, that's threaded on next, followed by the swivel. Because I'm using braid, I'll use a uni knot. Braid scissors to trim the braid. Feeder. Shock absorber bead comes down. Push the swivel into the open end. Like that. Feeder then clips to the clip. That's your rig.
Okay, so is it set? Is it to a
That's
certain...
now set.
What distance is the thing?
So normally you want it to lie like that, so that your ground bait pool has the bait in it. If you had too long a trace, say 2 feet, your actual bait will be away from where your ground bait's distributed. So normally 6 to 8 inches. Okay, with this one, I've hair rigged onto the back of the hook a piece of plastic corn. Now this bait is designed to rise up and sit like that. The piece of tungsten putty there holds that piece of trace from there to the swivel on the bottom, and the bait sits up like that. The idea being that the fish will come along, see that, see only the piece of bait, and inhale it from there. That's your standard feeder rig. Now what we do is we fill the feeder with our ground bait, real corn, and look to consistently cast it where we have previously. Okay, so this is the tagging gun that we're going to be using, and the aim is to get 50 tags into 50 fish in the lake, 50 tench. That's the needle that goes in just at the base of the dorsal fin, and that will insert individual ones of these tags, and each of these have a specific number for each fish. So the next one will be 1006, and that's them recorded. And in recording it, we talk about species, tench, length, we'll do in inches, location, that's important. So far we've got these 3 measured in the northern part of the lake, and comments we put them gender, so male, female. And that's quite useful because it tells you if there's a lot of females, that it's quite a healthy population. If we had too many males, that could have an impact on spawning in the future. Tench.
Is it?
Yep. There he is.
Beauty, isn't it? Jeepers, look at the colour of it.
This is a very... You got him?
Now, look at
I've
that,
caught you before. I've caught him several times, this guy. See the markings there, the V, where he's been hit? No, I've caught that.
Oh, it's extremely gold,
That's-
isn't it?
That's spawned. That fish is spawned. You see, he's got nothing in this cavity here. So it's 19 inches.
Pretty tough, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. That's better. That's got it. 06 was a fail. Misfired. That's obviously a post-spawn fish. You can sell the empty gut cavity, and they do lose a lot of condition with spawning. The fight certainly wasn't of a fish that's in prime condition. That fish I've now caught 4 times. So potentially it could be caught again with the tag in it in future years, and we'll see just what happens to it. Inches. This is unique. This is the first time, as far as we're aware, that a tagging program has been done in this lake for tench to see what it's been doing. It's been very much a mystery fish since the 1990s. What is the size of the population? How many are there? Where are they in the lake? Is it just small groups that move around the lake all the time, or are they evenly spread around the lake? All that sort of thing is probably useful for Fish and Game in terms of how successful the fishery's been. Yeah, it is a good one too. Ooh,
Yeah,
this is a beauty. This is a good fish. That's a good fish. That's the quality fish.
Beautiful looking fish.
That's a prime fish. You got it? Yeah.
Girls can fish.
Don't catch the bigger ones. Okay. Tench used to be found right through the North Island. There are a number of strong fisheries in the Auckland area. There were 2 or 3 in the Waikato. Right down through Otaki, there's some very good tench fisheries at Otaki, a place called Forest Lakes. Through to the South Island, the Christchurch Angling Club have done a great job at Kaipoi, setting up 2 lakes there for tench fishing. Probably a catfish. My money's on a catfish. I would say. No, it's a tench.
Oh, it is a tench.
It's a good tench too. Can you get the net hung quickly? Just there. Net. That's it. There it is. I can see it. Keep it tight. If you are fishing here and you do catch a fish, a tench with a tag in it, it's important firstly not to kill it. 21 inch.
21?
Yeah. The important thing for the Fish and Game need is the tag number. That is unique to that fish, and from that we can record what that fish is actually doing. So if you catch a tag fish, don't kill it, record the number and record its length and forward that information to Fish and Game, because it's that information that will tell us what this fishery is doing.
That's it.
And it's no different to any trout that's tagged. 1008. Got the camera? I'm going to get close up. What I enjoy about this is it's got a new challenge to it. It's something very different, very challenging. They're a unique fish which requires unique tactics, unique approaches to actually get them to take on a consistent basis. So when I say consistent, you're aiming to catch 5 or 6 of them every session, if not more. You know, our best has been 16 fish in one session here. The other thing that fascinates me is just how big are they in here. Down in front of me. There he is. Just a big heavy weight over it. They do this, they come in easy and they struggle at the end. Right, got him. Stroppy.
Yes.
Another female. Our biggest is over 6 pound. We've caught big males in that sort of 4 to 5 pound. On overseas studies, females can be twice that size.
Okay, 19-inch female.
So again, is the fishery just limited by how much food it can get?
And tags in.
Tag number.
1009.
Okay, so what we found is that we're definitely getting 3 different sizes of fish. You're getting them under 14 inches, which we've done tonight, 16 to 18 inches, which again we've done, and 20 inch plus. And that to us tells us that there's probably at least 3 generations of fish in here. That's a fish that lives for 14 to 16 years. So the original fish that we put in here in 1990, they've gone. So now you've got at least 3 generations of reproduction that's going on, which tends to show it's quite a healthy fishery. And certainly the condition of the fish is very good.
So it's a female, and she is 20 inches.
Those fish are putting on condition after spawning probably in November, December. So come April, May, and then again in September when they start again, those fish are in prime condition. Bugger. Take him a hook too. Bugger. They're getting revenge, you see, for the other ones that are going into the veggie patch at home.
This animal is a mature animal. The 4th tooth in is the oldest tooth in this animal's head. And then it grows a new layer, and we're actually counting the number of lines in there. Same principle as a tree.
If we want it to take to the next step, now this is what the Wapiti Foundation are trying to do in Fiordland.